Hi there, this is Josh Sachs with another episode of Getting to Know Your Local Pros. Today with me, I have the current MPO champ of the Blueberry Brawl from Sudbury and the Peacebridge Highland Open up in Collingwood, and the back-to-back champion of those same two tournaments from the FPO division, Thomas and Alicia Hums. Welcome, guys.
Hi, thanks for having us.
So, Thomas, does it ever get to you that Alicia is the back-to-back champion of those tournaments? And you're just
Not
working on
at
one
all.
year?
No. Very proud of her success in those tournaments, and obviously we're competing in different divisions, so there's no animosity between us. No, it's we're try to be the best we can when we can, and that works out on the same day. Great.
So before we get into the real disc golf stuff, how did you guys get started into the sport? How did you find the sport? Let's say.
Well, I started before Alicia. Some colleagues introduced it to me when I started teaching, actually. So this was pre-pandemic, and I started very, very casually, once every 2 weeks or so. And I didn't actually like it when I started. I was involved in other sports. I was involved in track cycling before that, as well as Olympic weightlifting. And I didn't really commit a lot of time to disc golf until, maybe 2018, 19. I was playing a little more regularly. Once Alicia and I met, I introduced her to it, and then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, then, just like everybody else, it started exploding, and we started, playing very regularly, started getting into tournaments, and then we went from there.
Yeah. When Thomas introduced it to me, we played maybe once a month, and then Sudbury winters hit, and Thomas still went out with our buddies, and I was like, "You guys are crazy. There's no way I'm playing this frisbee throwing sport in the winter." So I took that first winter off, and then we just gradually picked it up and played more regularly. Monthly turned to weekly, and then twice weekly. Joined the league, played a tournament, and we're both fairly competitive people, so we were excited to jump back into the tournament scene or some sort of competitive sport.
Great. And you guys are both teachers, correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm. We are. We're attached at the hip. We both teach at the same school right now, so we spend almost every minute together.
So have you brought, or are you trying to bring disc golf to the school?
I've done a little bit of stuff with the board. The previous school I was at, I had used some funding that I had from the ministry to buy some disc golf baskets and some sets of discs. So I think I bought 4 baskets for that school, as well as probably 20 sets of discs to introduce it to the phys ed programs that I was teaching. And I brought some groups to the local course. At the current school that we're at now, we've bought, I think, another 4 or 5 baskets for our institution, as well as some discs that we had donated. So we've done some disc golf there. But yeah, depending on where we're at and what I have available to me, I try to introduce it to whoever I can and wherever I can, and help grow the sport that way.
And are you guys still running your putting league during the winter?
Yeah, so putting league is Tuesdays in the winter time. It's great. We have a local school gymnasium booked out, and it's free to play. So we're hoping to sort of grow the sport and entice new players to come out and give it a go. We just finished our fall league, and our winter league's about to start up. And it's a lot of fun. We were originally doing sort of distance challenges, and then now we're moving into sort of different stations where we're forcing different lines. And it's a lot of fun. We get the tunes going, and it's just like an hour and a half of warm indoor disc golf in the wintertime.
And I saw, I guess, Thomas, you took a couple pictures earlier this week doing some work with other Thomas.
Yeah.
That looked like it was indoors in a hockey rink, like an old hockey rink or something.
Yeah, so I had reached out to Thomas Gilbert and tried to set up some one-on-one time and coaching that I could do with him, because I want to improve my game just as much as I can. I want to elevate my game and try to bring it to the next level. So he was very what's the word I want to use? It was very nice of him to agree to meet with me. Originally, it was going to be on the 23rd, but that didn't work out. There was some freezing rain where we were meeting up, and he was able to reschedule, and we ended up doing it on Christmas Eve. So I drove down there. We did there was kind of a net set up in the hockey rink, so we did some stuff with the net, and then we went out into the field. But there was actually more snow there south of where we are right now than we have up in Sudbury, which currently is next to nothing, which is very unusual. It's green outside right now, and happy to say that because we're able to continue disc golfing in a less bundled way at the moment. But we are planning to come down to the GTA over the next week or so to check out some new courses and try some stuff out. So
yeah, they are springing up everywhere over the last couple of years, thanks to Jeff and Kara for sure.
I know, it's so every time I feel like every time I open up my socials, there's a new course popping up and people are posting videos. So we're excited to check some of those out, get some of our videos up, do the same.
Have you guys been back to Scarlet Woods since the Combine?
No, maybe once, but we are planning on coming down this week to check out Scarlet again. So
yeah, it's still green. It's a little wet because we've had some rain down here, but yeah, it's not like playing last year's Toronto Open in like 6 inches of snow, and it's still fun to get out there, but it's a totally different experience.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's what we're looking forward to, playing on grass. Even though wet's fine, wet is fine. We're used to wet. It's the hip to knee high snow that we try to get away from. So
I was just say it was the summer of wet, wasn't it, for a lot of tournaments this year?
Yeah, it really
Ontario, was. That was sort of the thing where like, oh, is it raining this weekend? There must be a big tournament. That's the way it seemed to go.
Because I was going to say, I got lucky because when I was in Guelph, Eastview didn't get rain until later in the afternoon. But I know you guys were out at the golf course that day.
Yeah, there was an hour and a half rain delay there. They shut down the course for the ball golfers, and then we just kept waiting it out. But the MPOs, we were almost done, and then it was waiting for the FPOs that were like way waterlogged behind. And it was. Yeah,
we had almost a double rain delay right before we were about to tee off. So we were last card out. We were a card of 5. And right before we were about to tee off, there was like this big rain delay, and TD was kind of running around trying to get everything organized. So we were about 30 minutes late to tee off. And then on hole 9, we threw our drives. The horn went, and we just looked in the sky and we could see an opening, which we thought was coming our way. So the whole 5 FPO card decided we would just wait on the course, which was a terrible idea. It ended up, we pulled up the radar, and there was this giant storm that just hovered over us for an hour and a half. So we were like crouched under our umbrellas, under trees for an hour and a half. And yeah, only halfway through the course at that point. And so the MPOs were nearing the end. They only had a couple holes left. So it actually worked out really nice. All 5 of us had partners playing in the MPO field. So for our last maybe 5 holes or so, we all had a caddy that got to join us and to watch us finish out the round.
So they came back to rescue you.
That's right.
Carry some of that waterlogged equipment.
That's right. Yeah. Here's my sweater and my towel.
So I know you play a lot of tournaments here in Ontario and have for the past couple of years. Have you ever considered doing any touring in the States, given that you do have a chunk of the summer off?
Yes, we have had. We'll start this with the sticky note on our refrigerator. We've had a sticky note on our refrigerator for the past 4 years that has said, apply for passport.
So the long story here, the slightly longer story, is that I had my passport expire back in 2012. I was living in California at the time. I came back. I'm like, I have no plans to travel anytime soon. So I didn't really do anything about it. And it's, over 10 years ago. So it's been a while, and we've been meaning to do it and just kind of procrastinate. So I just got my passport renewed a couple weeks ago. So hoping that we can explore some other tournaments south of the border and or abroad. But that's up in the air right now.
Nice.
Definitely have some plans. It would be fun to venture outside of Ontario. We've done 2 full seasons here, so it's always fun checking out new courses and meeting new people. Not that there's anything wrong with our Ontario folks, but it's always fun to branch out.
So, are you guys have any specific plans for this off season? Any specific parts of your game that you're working on, trying to improve?
Me personally, I've been obviously we've been doing our putting league, and I've been making some technical changes with that I've found some success with already. So hopefully that can carry into the season. As you mentioned, I was working with Thomas Gilbert this past weekend to work on some distance and some backhand stuff that I want to work on and improve. So I'm hoping that I continue working on that through the winter. We've been fortunate that we can do some field work in a dome that we've had access to in Sudbury. So we're able to train there once a week to work on some of those technical aspects of our game, so we can work on our drives and our approaches and things like that without being in boots in the snow. So that's new for us this year, that we're able to work on that aspect of our game, because we haven't really been able to do field work after October in years past. So we're happy about that. And then just trying to stay sharp until the spring comes, and then hopefully hit it hard then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel a lot of my off-season energy is going into sort of technical changes. I think the throws and form that I have works, and it's doing enough, but I would like to get more out of it. So just really tweaking some technical things to hopefully sort of like invest in my future, so I can progress past where I was this past season and keep growing as a player. So I've switched up my putt quite a bit. I was doing sort of a staggered putt, and after some reflection on the season and some late tournaments, I've actually switched to straddle putting. I think my timing is the biggest thing, and that switch has made some improvements for sure. I'm definitely a bit more consistent on the putting green with that. So I'm excited to sort of bring that into the tournament season. And hoping to get some more distance by just improving overall form, right? There are always things we can tweak and improve. So just trying to dial in a few things there.
Any big changes in terms of like what you guys are keeping in your bags, switching things out?
I've been experimenting with some different stuff, but there's some things up in the air, both potential sponsorships and or just like things that I'm trying out. So we'll stay tuned for that, and there may be some announcements in the future. We'll see.
Wonderful. Do you guys have any specific goals going into next season? Tournaments you really want to get to or win, or maybe a ratings change?
I think, like, speaking for myself, as far as winning, I don't necessarily have any specific tournaments in mind at this particular time. I want to, try to be more consistently, near the top or at the top than in most of the events that I'm competing in. Currently rated 981, but I think for the year I would like to approach and or exceed 990. I think that's very reasonable with some of the stuff I'll have coming off, and if I can shoot as well as I was shooting when I was throwing well this past year, that should be very attainable. As far as tournaments, as you mentioned, we might check out some stuff in the States, but then trying to be at the top of the game in Ontario and see what happens with that, I guess.
Yeah, you don't want to do back-to-back Blueberry Brawl champ?
Oh, well, I would love to shoot another good one there, but there's lots of tournaments that we'll be involved in, and I often had either started really, really hot or ended really, really hot, and I just need to kind of be consistent throughout the tournament. I think I'll be a contender at most of them, so There are many tournaments where I shot the hot round, and it's just kind of need to not just shoot one hot round and shoot many.
When I think about my past season and goals for this upcoming season, I felt like there were a few tournaments where I went into the final round with a lead and managed to kind of lose it. I think more so in the head games, and just sort of spiraled and ended up with a second place finish, which is still great, but it always feels a little more devastating when you're going into that final round with a lead. So not necessarily, again, like Thomas, specific tournaments, but just like being able to keep it together and get that head game dialed when it matters most will be a big victory for me. Ratings wise, I was really trying to push for 900 this past season. I didn't quite make it, so I definitely think that's attainable this year. So
so it was over about a 20-point improvement from the beginning of the season, was it not?
I went for, I think it was 30. I think I went from 865 to 895, which is sweet. It was a great, I had a really good season last season. Every ratings update, I climbed a little bit, which is always nice to see. And I know people have mixed emotions about ratings, but that was sort of my gauge all year. It was like, I don't have to win this tournament. I just want to shoot above my rating. I just want to see that climb. I just want to see that I am making progress and growing. So similar goals this year. That's nice to see.
It really seems like at a lot of tournaments you kept getting more and more the FPO field filling out a little bit more each time. I think you said you had 5 people on the card in Guelph.
Yes.
Which I think was the same weekend as a few of our Ontario people were out in BC. I think Colleen was out there, a couple other people were out there, and like that could have been like an 8 to 12 people in the field, which is big for Ontario.
It's, it's sort of fun. I feel like the time when I joined FPO was sort of a fun time. My first season, we'd have 3, maybe 4 FPO. It was like exciting if we had a full card. And then last season, I felt like it was like, okay, we always have just over a full card. I frequently played on cards of 3 this past year where we'd have like 6 competitors in the field. So it was always exciting if we had 8, because then we had 2 full cards. So I'm hoping that just sort of see that continue to grow. So maybe next season, 3 cards will sort of be the exciting number, the more norm or standard for the field. So it's great to see. I'd love to be a part of that growth. And Ontario's got some great FPO players up and coming. I'm excited to see what unwraps this season.
So that's more of the bigger stuff to take care of. So I want to do a quick little rapid fire round with you guys. Favorite disc in your bag right now?
Who's going first? Me? Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at favorites. Rapid fire. Mana. Mana comes to mind first. Right now I have my glow mana, which I call my stable mana. It's it does whatever you want it to do. It's perfect.
I've switched my putter up to the Prodigy PA3, and I've been really liking that. It has not been failing me as of late, so hopefully that continues.
Favorite person other than the one you're sitting next to play a casual round with?
Ooh. There's a friend of ours that just started playing tournaments this year. His name's Jake Gale, originally from down in the GTA, but he's currently living in Sudbury. He was actually my caddy at the Blueberry Brawl, and he came second at Knock in his first ever tournament in MA1. And I think he shot like a 960, 970 rated tournament, so he's already up there. But he's probably one of the top players in Sudbury, and I like playing with him. He's a good guy to have out there. He's got a good attitude, and again, like as a caddy, he was very helpful, very knowledgeable as well. So I think he's probably one of my preferred casual players for sure.
Yeah, I feel like, should I expand, go non-local? But we've been playing a ton of casual rounds with I have to pick one person, Alex Paletto. She's been awesome. She's an up-and-comer FPO. She can bomb. She's fun to watch, and I think we both have lots to learn from one another. So it's fun playing with her.
favorite course that you have played so far?
I fell in love with P15 or Project 15 this year, played it for the first time, and I'd only heard good things. So sometimes I show up to a course, I'm afraid people have sort of built it up too much. So I had really high hopes for this course, and it exceeded all of them. It's beautiful. The people, the scenery, the holes, all of it. Love it all.
Yeah, Gabe's got a really nice course, and he does a lot of work on it.
Yes, yeah, and it shows. You can, it's labor of love. It's beautiful.
Project 15, I think, is like kind of what we would aspire to look for. We're always looking at properties up here, like both for buying a house and then, can we put a disc golf course on it? And Project 15 comes to mind for sure. I really enjoyed Victoria Park Valley in Guelph for the Diameter Open. And we recently checked out Cedar Creek and Hot Goat. So all of those are at the top of my list. They're all really fun.
So what is a bucket list course for you that you haven't gotten to yet that you'd like to one day?
I don't, Maple Hill, like a lot of the Pro Tour ones. I would love to go play some Pro Tour tournaments eventually. So there's a number of courses on that list, but like Toboggan, Maple Hill, USDGC would be fun if I were to qualify for that. So those are always opportunities that could arise. So hopefully, Foxwood and Diameter Open this year both have qualifying spots for that, and hopefully I can put something together at one of those.
Yeah. I'm gonna just think short term. We really want to check out Albion Hills right now, one of the new local-ish courses. So
we're going there tomorrow.
So I'm just like tunnel vision right now. So I'm excited to check that out. So there we go.
That's great. And a dream foursome, if you could play any course with any three other people, where would it be?
Oh, where would it be? Actually,
sorry, who would you be playing with, and where would it be?
Okay, so
who?
Well, I was always a big Simon Lizotte fan, so he's half Canadian at least, so Simon would be on that list. Trying to think of I really enjoyed playing or doing that work with Thomas yesterday. So I'm sure I put Thomas on that list as well. I love playing with Justin Murphy from Huntsville. He's a good guy. Who's another guy?
He could be a favorite.
And I put Alicia on my card as well.
Oh, thank you. There you go.
So Alicia can be on my card. And actually, what's the one? There's the one course over in the Czech Republic that they play. Oh my God,
I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one you mean.
It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember, but I think it's in the Czech Republic. Like I feel like the European, not the European Open, but there's a big European tournament that was there. And there's a couple in like Nokia, Finland, and all those ones. Like there's some really nice courses in Europe that I would love to play. Like disc golf, you see a lot of the coverage, it's all United States. I did notice that I saw some stuff on the internet that the 2025 World Championships are supposed to be in Finland, which is good. And I think as the sport grows, you do want to see more international stuff, especially for a World Championship. That hopefully travels around the world, right? And isn't just always in the same spot. I think that's good for the growth of the sport and for the international disc golf community as a whole, that it is truly an international sport and not really just American.
I mean, the little piece of trivia I remember from last year at the Discmania Combine with Avery is like, did you guys know that the first World Championships and only World Championships held outside of the States was at Toronto Island?
Yeah, in Canada.
Yeah. That's a fun
Mind you, it was in 87, which was before I was born. So
2 years before me.
Yeah, me too. A lifetime ago. Okay, if I had to have a foursome, Albert Tom, gosh, I just can't believe his power. It's unreal. I loved watching him at that distance competition last year. Everyone else is doing 360s. He's like, meh, let me just throw my standard golf shot, no problem. So I watched a lot of his form work this year. It's impressive. Kristen Tatar, because it's Kristen. And I do like the Simon Lizotte pick, which is a little boring because Thomas picked him, but he's just an entertainer. And we played this past year. We did a pros versus Joes event, and Thomas Gilbert was there, and it was a lot of fun to watch him throw. He's a great player, fun to be around. So I guess that also makes it a 5-some if I'm joining in on the party.
Absolutely, you're definitely allowed to play with them for sure.
Yes. Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. It was great talking with you, catching up with you guys. And I look forward to seeing you out there this year on the course.
Yeah, we can't wait. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy
to you guys as well. And sorry you guys have to get back to the grind of teaching in a couple weeks.
Such is life.
That's okay.
Right.
Okay, see you.
See you.